This is Bishop Linda Adams, and I'm here to talk to you about the Bishop's Crisis Response Fund. It is a powerful strategic tool that we have, and I want to make sure that our church understands it. Many of you do give to it, and I want to start off by saying thank you. But I want to also help you to understand some of the benefits that we in the U.S. have because this fund exists. The news all the time will tell us about another natural disaster around the world, or another repressive government taking steps against Christians or minority religions, or another economy that just melts down. So here's what the Bishop's Crisis Response Fund does for us. See, since we're in over 100 countries, the chances are pretty high that a lot of those places where these crises happen are places where we have truly boots on the ground. We have people who are in the church there who care. And some of the people whose homes are sliding down the hill in a mudslide in Africa are actually our own church members and pastors. And so sometimes we are actually helping out our own. And then there are other times when our people are nearby but have a compassionate heart and praying for the ones in the disaster zone. And sometimes our funds are able to help them to buy 50-pound bags of rice and head up into the hills where the disaster has happened. And with the love of Jesus and the compassion of a neighbor, can offer supplies and food to people who have just lost everything. So in my time as the director of International Child Care Ministries, I was able to travel to 40 countries where the Free Methodist Church works. And I have seen hundreds and hundreds of our pastors' and members' homes, and many of them are huts. Some of them, if they're lucky, they're concrete blocks with a little tin roof. A lot of them are truly subsistence farmers, which means that they have a little plot of land, we would call it a garden, next to their house. And when they pray, give us this day our daily bread, or our daily rice, or cassava, or corn, or beans, they are literally praying, Lord, just keep my family alive today. And a lot of the time, most of the time, that is enough. They're not asking for more. They're not sitting around with their hand out. They're grateful to God for daily provision and for the fact that the earth brings forth its good fruit. But there are times when natural disasters come, where there are hurricanes and tornadoes and mudslides, and all of a sudden, what used to be okay to live from day to day has all of a sudden been destroyed completely, and they are with nothing. And that's where it comes in so beautifully that they belong to a global family. You know, we in the U.S. are not the only ones who contribute to the Bishop's Crisis Response Fund. I know that after an earthquake or a typhoon, many times we'll get a wire transfer from, let's say, Taiwan or Japan or Hong Kong or someplace, the UK. There are other places where they see the world news. They know that we have people in the places where the hardships are occurring, and they do their part to pitch in. So I think it's a great benefit to the U.S. church that we have the opportunity to give to this fund. Now, I know that it's tempting to only give to a designated country in response to a particular disaster. So for instance, we've gotten more than $500,000 in for Ukraine. And month by month by month, we've been able to distribute it in smaller portions and work with some partners on the ground there through our missionaries and our national leaders and some other Christian organizations who are helping with the refugee crisis and the crisis of the war in Ukraine. And we're grateful for that. But here's the thing. We have a line of requests, and we don't want that line to get long. So for instance, we just had a disaster in Malawi and Haiti at about the same time, and both of them asked for funds, and our funds were low enough that we couldn't give the full amount to either one. The truth is that if we can just have a reserve there at all times, then we can respond quickly, because it is a Bishop's Crisis Response Fund. And so we really don't want to take the time to advertise the disaster and then wait for a month while people's loving donations come in. But if we have a good reserve there, we can answer the requests immediately and then begin to rebuild the reserves. So that's why we love it when you just give to the Bishop's Crisis Response Fund, but don't designate it any further than that, so that we have the freedom to respond to the most recent and most urgent need at any time. So I just want to repeat my thanks. You give to Free Methodist World Missions, and what we are doing around the world couldn't happen without those gifts, and we are so grateful. But the Bishop's Crisis Response Fund is another different sort of way that we can give. And we are grateful to be able to respond to the command of Jesus. In Matthew 25, I was hungry and you fed me. And this way we can do it with our loved ones all over the world. So thank you. God bless you.